Hello everyone, welcome to this new edition of the Press Review on GDC Plus TV, which we open with the news of the day with the Guardian Post newspaper. Baba Danpulo, the Cameroonian business mogul who donated 100 million CFA francs to support the fight against COVID-19 in the country. According to Nga Christian's newspaper, a delegation of the Baba Danpulo group led by the general manager of Nextel Cameroon, represented the business magnate noted for his indiscriminate and unmatched philanthropic gestures at the handing over of the check ceremony yesterday at the conference hall of the Ministry of Public Health. The Guardian Post indicates that this gesture goes in line with the newly created Special National Solidarity Fund for the support of the fight against the killer virus. From the COVID-19 support fund, we stay with the Guardian Post to talk about what is currently happening at the Presbyterian Church Cameroon. The paper says another PCC pastor resigns. Reverend Ba Pius, associate pastor of the PCC Beach Limbe congregation, is said to have resigned from the church Wednesday, April the 1st. The paper says he announced he was leaving the church through a resignation letter published on his official Facebook page. This comes less than a month after one other pastor, Reverend Anyemo Anyemandong, a well-known funky critic, as indicated by the paper, resigned, citing witch hunting. Get to know more about this by reading page 3 of the Guardian Post newspaper, published this April 2, 2020. We move on to the Post Weekender, which carries as main headline, Government instructs private schools proprietors to pay match salaries to employees. According to late Francis Watchay's newspaper, the government of Cameroon, through its Ministry of Secondary Education, has called on school proprietors to ensure that match salaries, including part-time as well as output incentives, are paid to teachers and support staff, even though they didn't go up to a month with their duties. The message, the paper says, is contained in a circular letter made public on March 27, 2020 on the management of government and private secondary schools during the period of the class restriction due to the coronavirus pandemic. And the Post Weekender equally talks back Baba Danpulo's 100 million francs CFA donation to the Cameroonian government to help in the fight against COVID-19. The paper says the gesture of the man who was recently profiled by Forbes magazine as the richest man in Francophone Africa falls within the framework of the Solidarity Fund created by the head of state to help combat the killer virus. Our last stop is the Horizon newspaper, which carries as main headline, Anglophone crisis, separatists forfeit diplomatic gains. The paper says the barbaric killing of several persons attributed to Ambazonian forces in Oku, Bui division of the northwest region of Cameroon, for exercising one of their civic duties, that of voting, detracts from the positive perception and sympathy after a fraction declared a ceasefire over coronavirus. And talking about this virus, the paper says while waiting for its vaccine, Cameroonian medics have urged the government to consider preventive treatment by chloroquine and azithromycin. Details on page 2 and 5 to 7 of the Horizon newspaper, published this Thursday, April the 2nd, 2020. And that does it for what the papers had to say today. Thanks for watching. On to our next edition.